Hey guys, and welcome back. So today's video is going to be a requested video because a couple of days ago I posted on Instagram like a question, what would you guys like to see next for the next couple of videos that I do? Well, a couple of you guys actually answered the same thing, and everybody kind of answered a basic smoky eye wearable look, especially for beginners. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So if you want to stay tuned and watch how I create this smoky eye look, just keep on watching. Okay, so as you can see, I've already done the basics already on my face, and I didn't want to really do that on camera. I just kind of wanted to come on with my face already done so I can jump right into eyes and kind of make this whole video pretty much just focused on the smoky eye look. If you want to know what I've used on my face already, I will be listing everything in the description box below. So the palette that I've actually chosen to use for this look is actually the trusty Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour palette. And I chose to stick with one eyeshadow palette because especially if this video is going to be, you know, like beginners watching it of how to create a smoky eye, if you're going to purchase anything that might help you with this look, I would rather just stick to one product such as this. So that is why I chose this one, and also the shadows in here are extremely blendable. They are really easy to work with, so I think this is the perfect choice for a smoky eye look. Also, as you can see, the palette is kind of broken down for you into like kind of like three separate little I guess you could say color stories. So you could stick with those ones for each kind of like the three looks, or you can mix and match, which is what I like to do. I kind of like to take like a shade or two out of each thing and kind of make it my own. So that is the breakdown of this palette here. Okay, so jumping right into it, I am going to start off with this brighter shade up here, just kind of like an all over, I guess you could say like base for eyeshadow. So I'm just gonna duck my Sigma Taper Blending E40 brush just kind of into that, and they are a little powdery, so you just have to kind of watch out. And I'm literally just going to sweep some of that across my eyes, and this will just kind of help put down, you know, like a little bit of layer of neutral eyeshadow, just so everything kind of sits nicely with the eyeshadow. Actually, before I start, I kind of want to mention that you could kind of do like a variety different color of smoky eye. Smoky eye doesn't necessarily just mean like blacks and grays. You could do a smoky eye with some brown colors. So you could do like a smoky eye with these guys here, or you could stick to the classic smoky eye with the blacks and the grays, or you could kind of do like a neutral brown color, like a cooler toned over here. You could do smoky eyes with like reds, burgundies, whatever your choice is. But I think for this video, obviously I'm going to stick with this palette, but I'm going to stick with almost like a more neutral. So I'm going to kind of stick with these shades here, but I'm going to add some of these like grays and maybe a little tiny bit of black. I'm going to use this middle top shade here for the first transition shade. It's going to be this nice lighter cool brownie taupe color. And I am just using that same E40 brush that I just used before, just to kind of pop into that. And you have to watch the shadow. It does have a little bit of fallout, so just kind of tap off the excess. Start blending that transition shade. And the shadow is super buildable. So I'm just dipping into this just to create that first layer of shadow in my crease. And you want to use like a nice fluffy brush for this too. You don't want to use like a thin, you don't really want to use a brush like this because it's too thin, and you don't really want to use a brush like this because it's too dense on the ends. So I really like using a fluffy brush just to kind of disperse all of the product out onto your eyelids. So once I have that color, I think I'm going to go in with this color over here. It's like the very first one in the eyeshadow palette. So it's just kind of like because it's a little bit more of a brown, cool brown taupey color. So I'm going to go in with that same brush that I've been using, and I'm just going to kind of layer that in just a little bit on top of that first transition shade. And you can kind of see that it's creating like a little bit of a color so far. We're not gonna go like something too dramatic because again, this is like an everyday basic smoky eye. And there's different types of smoky eye too. Like you could do a smoky eye where you do like the whole lid as like one solid black gray color and just kind of like smoke out. That's like a super dramatic smoky eye. I didn't wear, or I have never wore too many of those. Maybe like once for like a New Year's a couple of years ago. But I like to kind of blend in different colors and I like to keep it light in this area here. So I will show you what I mean as we keep going. And you can also pick your intensity of your smoky eye also. So like what will be smoky to me might be like overly smoky to you guys, or what might be smoky to you might not be enough for me, but I'm gonna try to do my best to keep it like as basic but smoky as possible. I'm gonna switch brushes now. I'm actually gonna be going in with a Morphe E17 brush. So it's kind of like a little bit more narrow, a little bit more, I guess you could say, tapered on the ends. So that's kind of what I want for a little bit of more precise application, just kind of like in the outer corners of my eye. I think the color that I'm going to go into now is going to be this middle shade here. It's almost like a darker browny color. So I'm going to just pop into that and tap off the excess and just kind of focus on just this area of my eye, like the outer area. And this is the part when you want to start really focusing on blending, because if you don't blend it out, it's just going to kind of look like a big clump of shadow and it won't really blend seamlessly into all the other colors or shades that we use. Luckily, this shadow is super easy for blending, so I think that this shadow palette is like super nice for people, especially for beginners starting out. So you can kind of see now the smokiness level is starting to increase a little bit. And before I keep going, I just kind of want to show you what I do to the center of my eyes. So I'm actually going to be using this shade right here on the end. It's like almost like a, I don't even know, it's like almost like an off-white color. So I just like to kind of take that and I want to tap it into the center of my lid and just kind of blend it with your fingers over to where we meet this darker color over here. So I'm going to do the same with the other eye. And these shadows seriously feel like velvet, so it's really, again, super easy to blend. And I'm just going in with whatever's left on my brush and just kind of helping that blend in so there's no harsh lines of where the two colors meet. So before I go any further, I do want to kind of just add some color into my lower lash line. So for this, I'm going to be going into this middle shade that we used for the transition shade. And I'm just taking that same tapered brush and I'm just going to go in and just kind of give my lower lash line some color. You don't really have to do this step, but I mean, it helps to tie the whole look together. And if you're going with a little bit of a smoky eye on the top, you don't want to really leave the bottom completely bare, because I think it'll look like a little, I don't know, funny and not really equal. I am going to deepen it up just a little bit with this color that we used before, this very first one, and I'm just going to layer that on top, kind of like what we did on top of my lids, but we're just sweeping it across the bottom just to add some depth. I do want to go into this shade right before the black here. It's almost like a dark gray, and I'm using again that same tapered brush. This is the E17 by Morphe, and I'm just gonna go in and do the outer corners. So I'm just going to, I don't want to bring it over as far as those other colors that I did, but I'm just gonna kind of do like an outer V motion, just kind of like this, just to kind of give it that last little tiny bit of definition into the outer corner. And some people like wouldn't wear this during the daytime, but I mean, I go to work wearing makeup like this all the time, and I work in a jewelry store, so I don't consider this a ton. I consider this kind of like medium makeup, but again, that's just me. I think I'm going to take a more tapered brush. So this is the Sigma Small Tapered Blending E45 brush. It's just a tiny bit more pointed at the top than that Morphe one that I was just using. And I am going to go in with this gray shade right here, the one that I just used, and I'm going to put a little tiny bit of that on my bottom lash, only in the outer corners, I think. I'm not going to pull it all the way through like I did with the other colors. I'm just going to keep it, if you can see, just kind of right there, just kind of sweeping a little bit more color. I am going to go in with some liner, and if this is not dark enough for you for what you kind of want as a like basic smoky eye, you could just keep adding more layers of those colors that I was using. But for now, maybe once I'm done with this, I might want to retouch up something, but for now I'm going to put liner on, and I am using that Sigma Small Angle E65 brush. You could really use any angle brush, but this is one of my favorite ones. I use it like every day. And I'm just going to be tapping into this black shade here. And I'm just going to start lining my eyes. So to do this, you're really just kind of following your like natural eyelash line. So you're just getting as close as you can to the base of your eyelashes. And the reason why I really like using shadow instead of liquid eyeliner is because you can kind of use like little sweeping motions without it being like you're painting on something. So this helps blend it out really well, and it also helps give it like a more softer look, I find. So I'm just gonna start, and I like to kind of start out in the corner like this and just kind of bring it out a little bit and then just pull it all the way through. So this might take a little bit of practice for somebody, but it's really not that hard. And as you can see, I'm just kind of like feathering it in there, and I didn't dip back into a second thing of color yet. This is all from just the one dip, and you can bring this out as far as you want. It does help to elongate your eyes if you just bring it out just a tiny bit. Just give it a couple of sweeps on the end instead of just like stopping right here where my eyeball pretty much ends. And you can go back in for a second time if you just want it to be a little tiny bit darker, which is what I'm gonna do. And this is how that looks like. So as you can see, the eyeliner just kind of accentuates all of the colors and kind of just ties everything in. So I'm gonna do that again to my other eye. It just kind of gives like a thin, more, I guess you could say, softer eyeshadow look rather than just going in with like a harsh line of liquid eyeliner. And that's kind of my thing. I kind of like this a little bit better. It makes something more wearable. And I think for me, I'm gonna add just a very tiny little bit just on my lower lash. You do not have to do this step. I mean, as you add some mascara, it's gonna get a little bit darker anyway. But I'm just gonna add a little tiny bit just into the outer corner, like that. And again on this lower lash line. I'm not bringing that all the way in. I'm just keeping it, I guess, like the first quarter of my eye. And if you really want to, you can take like any kind of little dense brush and just blend that in. For those of you who wanted to smoke it out just even more, you could take that black with a tapered blending and just kind of give your outer corners of your eye just a touch of that darkness, and that will again enhance your smoky eye out as well just a little bit. But I think for the sake of this video, because it's basic, I'm gonna stop right here. So I am gonna kind of tie this look together with a couple of more products. So I am gonna go in with some highlighter, I think, first. But before I do it on my cheeks, I'm just going to dip into it with a little brush. This is the Morphe Y22 brush, and just kind of do a little bit of my inner corners and under my brow bone. We are using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Blossom Glow, and this is how that looks here. So it's a very nice affordable drugstore highlighter. And I'm just going to dip into that and just put a little bit of sheen in the very corners of my eyes, a little bit up here. I'm just going to kind of go in with my Sigma F03 Hide Cheekbone Highlighter brush. This is what I use every day. And I'm just going to sweep into that and just kind of dust some on top of my cheekbones. Again, you don't have to add highlighter. This is just what I kind of do every day for my makeup. So this is just what I'm going to do now, just for this video, just to kind of tie everything together. This is the Maybelline Colossal Big Shot Mascara. It is my absolute favorite drugstore mascara that I have tried so far. This one just gives me the length and the volume and like the closeness and togetherness of the lashes that I really like. I don't like when they kind of get separated and get spidery. So this stays like that no matter if you apply 1, 2, or 3 coats. So I'm just gonna dip into this and just do a couple of coats of mascara onto my eyelashes. And as you can kind of see, it just takes the whole look and just kind of adds everything together and makes everything blend. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some more color on my lips. So for this one, I'm gonna be using like a neutral, kind of like a pinky nudie color. This is Peach Buff by Maybelline. So this is what the package looks like. And this is what the color looks like. So for me, on a basic smoky eye, like if I were to wear this to work or maybe going out for supper or doing something of the sorts like that, I do like to pair it with a nudish like pinky lip because I don't want to go too heavy on the lips and have it looking kind of like a super nighttime look. So this right here is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoy this look and you kind of took some things from it to kind of make your own basic smoky eye look. So again, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And if you want to see more by me, just hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to post a little more frequently. I was really only doing one video, if that, a week because I was just kind of getting into the flow of things and trying to learn how to manage my time to actually create YouTube videos. But now I think I kind of have it a little more down pat and a little more kind of like what you do and the kind of time management that I need. So I am going to try to shoot for 2 videos, but don't quote me on that just in case. But that is going to be part of my new year, new me kind of goal, is to kind of post a little more frequently to YouTube. So until my next video, I guess I will see you guys there. Bye.